Any other tips for being on the road?
Oh, I do. Lots of them. It's harder now, but buy a local newspaper.
Yes.
Look at it, even if you can't read the language.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally interesting. Another thing that I do in other countries is almost always I go to grocery store.
Yep.
Going to a grocery store in another place is is honestly for me is a delight. So it's really just those basic daily quotidian things that you don't get being in a Western international hotel that is, kind of generic.
Yeah.
And so grocery stores, McDonald's, haircut. I always go, not always, but almost always, try to find the highest place in the city. Mm-hmm. So you can get like a vantage point on the whole thing, get a sense of where you are. So those are
I love this thing Bill Bryson talks about where he's saying like what you do when you read a newspaper from a place you're not from is most of the stories which are important to them are funny to you because they're absurd. You're like, look at this person's name, or I can't believe this is what their politicians are doing. Whereas you would be outraged or appalled at that same thing in your country.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good point. I didn't know that. Yeah.
And if the volume,
Yeah.
you go, oh, most of the news is silly and not that important. And then it also gives you a lens on what other countries think of your country, especially being an American, because so often our news is front page news in other countries, and you're like,
absolutely.
I think it's funny. Like here, we're like 50-50 split politically.
Yeah.
And in other countries, they're like 90-10. Like you might every once in a while meet someone who, and you go, oh, okay, this helps me understand where to come down. I don't mean they're 90-10 on their issues. They're probably 50-50 on their issues.
Right.
But our issues seem so obvious to them.
Okay, so 90. So where on the 90-10? What's the 90 and what's the 10?
Well, I'll give you an example. So
90 center. I mean, in Europe, like 90 center left.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, like people. Like it's funny. Like people think when I talk about stuff politically, they're like, "You're going to piss off half your audience." And I go, "Well, first off, you think 100% of my audience is American, which they're not, and then you're thinking that the rest of the world is equally split on these issues."
Yeah.
And most of the major Western nations are more or less in agreement on things that America we really struggle with, like,
Universal healthcare.
Healthcare. How do you solve,
Is climate change real?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They're just like, these are not partisan issues. Even the pandemic was much less partisan in other countries.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like, okay.
I am, though, I have to say, I have this thing, maybe it comes from growing up in the Midwest, where if I'm in another country, I will not criticize this country if I'm in another country. I will criticize this country. I will criticize something publicly, in the United States. But if I feel like if I'm overseas and an American, I actually kind of represent the United States, and I don't want to pee on the shoes of my own country.
I feel like I feel obligated to represent what I think America is, not what they have come to see America through pop culture.
Yeah. I hear you. I can make the argument. I can make the argument either way. This is not even an argument for me.
Yeah.
This is it's visceral. It's
no, it's like a value you pick it up as a kid. Like people dress up at the airport because that's what they thought you do. It's interesting when you pick up.
I also say please and thank you for everything. So that's another Midwestern thing.
It is funny sometimes, like, though, they'll be like, well, why does America do this? And it's like, well, it's because we're paying for everything else. Like I think it's easy to have universal health care when big, large America pays to defend, by and large, the entire world. Like, and then there's that joke. It's like, you're about to find out why Americans don't have health care, when our military has to get involved. So you can sometimes see America from different angles from foreign countries, which helps you, we've made this assumption, they've made this assumption, but those are only possible because of these other
It's also
facts.
because someone like you, extraordinarily high income, is paying a relatively modest income tax rate and living in a state without an income tax.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too.
Yeah.
So you go to Scandinavia and it's
50-60%
income taxes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway, crazy world we live in.